Hi, you've landed in the Investor's Edge area, where we discuss investments and investment ideas, try to learn from the best, and apply these timeless lessons with proper judgment. You've definitely heard about Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and some other institutions that make millions and billions every year from their investments. Today, Peter Lynch is going to share with us a lesson, how you can beat the institutions. Peter Lynch is one of the most successful and well-known investors of all time. He is the legendary former manager of the Magellan Fund at the major investment brokerage Fidelity. He took over the fund in 1977 at age 33 and ran it for 13 years. His success allowed him to retire in 1990 at age 46. His investment style has been described as adaptive to the prevailing economic environment at the time. But Lynch always stressed that you should be able to understand what you own. I wish I could retire in my 40s. Now, when we are listening to this incredible, trustworthy person, we shouldn't miss a word of his wisdom. It's a tragedy in America that small investors have been convinced by the media, the print media, radio, and television media, that they don't have a chance. These media giants have convinced many small investors that they can't compete with big institutions, with all their computers, degrees, and money. It just isn't true. When this happens, people act accordingly. When they believe it, they buy stocks for a week, and they buy options, and they buy the Chile fund this week. Next week, it's the Argentina fund, and they get results proportionate to that investing style. That's bothersome. The public can do extremely well in the stock market on their own. The fact that institutions dominate the market today is a positive for small investors. These institutions push stocks to unusual lows. They push them to unusual highs. For someone who can sit back and have their own opinion and know something about the industry, this is a positive. It's not a negative. Did you get his point? You can buy the best stocks even cheaper, which creates a margin of safety for you. The single most important thing to me in the stock market for anyone is to know what you own. I'm amazed at how many people who own stocks would not be able to tell you why they own them. If you press them, they'll say, "The reason I own this is because the sucker's going up." That's the only reason they own it. I'm serious. If you can't explain to a 10-year-old in 2 minutes or less why you own a stock, you shouldn't own it. That's true of about 80% of people who own stocks. Now be ready, because this video is all about this. It bothers me that people are not careful with their money. The public, when they buy a refrigerator, they go to Consumer Reports. When they buy a microwave oven, they do that. They ask people what's the best radar range, or what car to buy. They do research on apartments. When they go on a trip to Wyoming, they get a mobile travel guide. When they go to Europe, they get the Michelin travel guide. People hear a tip on a bus on some stock and they'll put half their life savings in it before sunset. And they wonder why they lose money in the stock market. When they lose money, they blame it on the institutions and program trading. That is garbage. They didn't do any research. They bought a piece of junk, they didn't look at the balance sheet, and that's what you get for it. That's what we're being driven to, and it's self-fulfilling. The public invests terribly, and they say they don't have a chance. It's because that's the way they're acting. I'm trying to convince people there is a method. There are reasons for stocks to go up. This is magic. It's a magic number, easy to remember. Coca-Cola is earning 30 times per share what they earned 32 years ago. The stock has gone up 30-fold. Bethlehem Steel is earning less than they did 30 years ago. The stock is half its price from 30 years ago. It is that simple, isn't it? Now comes my best part, which saved me years of experience. I wish I had known it earlier. People try to predict the stock market. That is a total waste of time. No one can predict the stock market. It would be terrific to know the Dow Jones Industrial Average a year from now, to know whether we'll have a full-scale recession, or to know if interest rates will be 12%. That's useful stuff, but you have no chance of learning it. The only truth you need to know is this. Stocks are not lottery tickets. There's a company behind every stock. If a company does well, its stock does well.